Corinthians beat São Paulo tonight in this cold weather. Isabella Ginola here at Neoquímica Arena. The stadium is empty. The Corinthians fans, since only home fans were allowed, have already left. And we had a match where Corinthians was dominant, played better, deserved to win, but there was a lot of controversy with the refereeing. We can talk about this derby. There's a lot to point out.
It was a derby marked by a lot of controversy. I think controversy is the defining word for this derby. Moving a bit away from the tactical side, São Paulo's first half gave people a lot to talk about. It started with Luciano's celebration around the 40th or 42nd minute of the first half when he tried to imitate Luis Fabiano in that Zé Ponte celebration right in front of the section where the Rio fans are, which is right behind here. He also knocked down the Corinthians corner flag, and now let's see if we can get there. And then things got heated. Players were in each other's faces. There was a fight, and an electronic cigarette was smashed on Caleri's head. And the possible gesture by Bobadilla toward Luciano, which caught a lot of attention, even resulted in an image that's going viral on social media. It was for Marcos that Daron should run away, that the player wouldn't have touched his genitals during the celebration. However, it's worth noting a Corinthians player has done something similar before and was sent off on other occasions. So it actually ends up raising the debate about whether this is a matter of consistency or not regarding these cases that are becoming common in national football.
And so I think this really heated up the derby, but at the same time, I think that on the field, and now we're going to bring Carvalho in a bit more for the tactical part, Corinthians was much more composed. So it was a great match from Fernando Luiz's team, but the team was much more dominant in the second half. It seems like the talk in the locker room worked really well, which didn't happen for São Paulo. After a pretty uneventful first half where Corinthians had slightly more chances than São Paulo, it still wasn't anything special. No brilliant first half from Corinthians. The second half was different. The team came back more focused, taking more risks, and it was Rodrigo Gara had a very important game. He took the corner for Ranieri's goal, gave an assist to Pedro Vidal for the second goal, and in the third goal he only didn't participate because he was already moving back to midfield, but the Argentine was once again very decisive. I felt that Corinthians was better able to understand the difficulties that São Paulo had during the match, to understand São Paulo's weakness. São Paulo was missing players for this match, and Corinthians managed to put their plays together better, both individually. Like these players who make the difference, like Rodrigo Gara, Pedro Vidal, who scored a beautiful goal, but also collectively because the team knew how to defend after getting that 2-goal advantage. So that turnaround from the first to the second half was very important because Fernando Diniz adjusted the team, made the team take more control of the match, and really brought out the strength of the fans. The technical difference that impressed the crowd in the first half also showed in the second half. I think with 2 goals, São Paulo naturally pushed forward, but I missed what Luciano did, for example, in the goal, which was having that decisive guy. Caleri was quiet again. I'd like you to discuss this aspect of São Paulo.
São Paulo had a first half with very low attacking output. And as Vinny said, it's a team that comes in very unbalanced. I think we can really draw attention, especially to the midfield, because they've really been missing Marco Santoro. Marco Santoro was that player who made the link between the midfield and the attack, so the midfield was really overloaded, especially with Bobadilla there with Danielzinho. Bobadilla, who was at the center of the controversy, ran until the 16th minute, but it was a very overloaded midfield and a defense that couldn't keep up, especially with that man-to-man marking with Doria, Cedric, and Sabino. Cedric Suarez also made a lot of mistakes today. Just think about that first goal. He was the one who gave away the corner to Corinthians, which led to that goal at the near post. So it's a team that's really feeling the absence of key players, a problem that's been happening repeatedly. Things had calmed down a bit at the beginning of this year, but now it's becoming a recurring issue again. And like Vinny said, there's a lack of a decisive player. Luciano had a very quiet start to the game. They managed to get that goal, but São Paulo barely shot or made breakthroughs. Caleri hasn't been in good form either. He hasn't been that offensive Caleri, the Caleri who knows how to get things done. Ferreirinha also missed some really good opportunities there. So São Paulo hasn't been able to get shots off. They haven't really had any ability to create chances. I really believe it's because of the lack of players like Marcos Antonio de Aluga. It's not that they didn't want to play with them anymore. Arthur also had a very lackluster match. So São Paulo is leaving with a tough result and nothing to show for it. And remember, the Brasileirão is the team's main priority this season. There's a crucial match Wednesday against Juventude with just a 1-goal lead. The game is in Caxias do Sul, so they're already in a tough spot. And the pressure is increasing even more for Roger Machado, so we'll see how things go for the rest of the week. This weekend, they'll also face a tough challenge against Fluminense away.
They'll meet Zubeldinho again.
And with the unbroken streak, the peace is on the tricolor side. And even less for Roger Machado, who definitely won't be going back to the West Zone. The players are now returning to the Barra Funda Training Center calmly tonight.
Well, we're saying goodbye here on this cold night, Mother's Day night. Let me see if I get to take a shower.
I'm sending a big kiss to my mom and grandma. My grandma will definitely watch this video.
So that's it. São Paulo plays again on Wednesday, Corinthians on Thursday, and you can follow all the information on lance.com.br and Alance Digital. We'll see you around here. Take care. Bye-bye.
So did you like this video? Then like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you get notifications for everything we post here on Lance TV.